Hey guys, today we're going to look at a very famous song by Phil Collins called In the Air Tonight, and we're going to program the drums using the Roland TR808 in the Roland Cloud. So right now I have Logic Pro X open, and I'm going to open a blank TR808, and we're going to start from scratch. So this is what the TR8 looks like. It's a very famous drum machine. The original In the Air Tonight was programmed on a Roland CR78. The sounds in this are very similar, so we're going to use this. Phil Collins actually used a preset called Disco 2 when he programmed that. He made a few changes to it, and he also played live on top of it, and it is the classic that it is. So we're just going to look at the pattern. In the very beginning of the song, it actually plays throughout the whole song. And the tempo, first thing you have to do is get the tempo. The tempo of this was 95 beats per minute. So I have it in my Logic session here. And let's just look around what this TR808 is. Classic drum machine used on many different tracks from the early days of hip hop. There's a long history with this. When it first came out, it really wasn't that popular. They were trying to compete with the other drum machines that were becoming sample-based, and this was not sample-based. It was electronic analog synthesis that was these sounds were created on, and it didn't really sell that well when it first came out. It was only during the early 80s in the secondhand market that hip-hop producers took this and took it to a whole nother level, and the sound of this is just amazing. The kick drum, people say that it just moves the air in a club that makes people want to dance, and again, there was so many classic records that use this TR808. So here it is in the Roland Cloud. It sounds amazing. It's just a great recreation of it. They also make a boutique version of this as well. And there's also the Roland TR8, which has a bunch of different sample sets in there besides the 808. And it's more of like a modern day version of it. So let's look at this, and we're going to program the first pattern. There are two patterns in this particular song. So let's just look around. We have a volume knob here. We have an instrument select. We can go through the different instruments here. We have a kit that we can choose. Our case in this situation, I'm going to stick with the 808 Drive Kit 1, and I'm going to save this as a pattern. Right now it's a blank pattern. There is an accent level here that I do want to raise because I want to put an accent in here somewhere. The levels in this kit are set here. You can adjust them for each different instrument. We have the bass drum, the snare drum, the low tom, mid tom, high tom, rim shot, hand clap, cowbell, cymbal, open hi-hat, and closed hi-hat. We have levels for each one of them. We also have a tone and a decay. We can do a lot of different adjustments here. We have tuning, so you can tune the drums as well. And there's a shuffle thing here. We can change the groove of it. Here we have a option, help, about, and the panel can be changed, which is kind of cool. So here it is. It looks, you see the different part of the panel. And here are your different A pattern, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H, and we can chain all these patterns together to make a song. All right. It's laid out here. If we look at it, there's 16 little tabs here. It's set up to use it as like a step sequencer. What I like to do in this, and I think it's great, this is not on the original. You can't do this on the original. I just click the edit button, and now everything's laid out. So here is our step sequencer. And everything's laid out in what we call 16th notes. If you look at it, I can change it too. You can change it to 32, but right now we're going to just leave it at 16. So if we look at the first tab here, the top one is for the accents. So if I place it, click on any one of these, I can accent any one of these instruments here, which is really cool. I have to have the level up here as well to hear it. And then underneath, we have all of the instruments. Cowbell, cymbal, open hi-hat, closed, hand clap, rim shot, high tom, mid tom, low tom, snare drum, and bass drum. And these are my patterns. I can mute, I could solo, I can adjust the volume for each one of them. All right, okay, so, and I could also, besides an accent, I could put a weak beat in here. You could do what's called a flam. Drummers do that. They don't hit it exactly at the same time. It's a very common thing. All right, so let's just look at the pattern first. First pattern, all right? Now, there are 3 different instruments in this first pattern. The first thing I'm going to program is the open hi-hat. So let's find the open hi-hats right here. And I'm going to program this on step 1 and step 13. So if we look at the open hi-hat here, here's step 1 and step 13. Now let's just listen to this. So it's going through the steps, it's playing it. I have my tempo at 95 beats per minute. It is following that. Okay, so now let's go to the next one. So the next one we're going to do is going to be the closed hi-hat. And the closed hi-hat is going to be on 3. So let's find the closed hi-hat right here. Step 3. And the next one is going to be step 7, step 11, and step 15. There we go. So that's the first part of it. And then we're going to add the toms. And we're going to do that on step 3. Step 7. Step 13. All right, that sounds pretty good to me. And we also need a kick. So the kick is going to go on 11 and 13. Step 11 and 13. Here it is. All right, so now let's take the second pattern. So I have to click on B here. I'm going to stop this. So let's look at the second pattern. Second pattern's a little bit busier with the kick drum, but they are similar. So the first thing I want to do is the open hi-hat on beat 1, the first part of beat 1 or step 1 here. That's the open hi-hat. And I also want to do 13. So here it is. That's it. And I want to do the next one, which would be the closed hi-hat. So it's right underneath it. I want to do this on step 3, 7, 11, and 15. The next one I want to do with it is the toms. So let's go to the high tom here. And that is going to be on 3, 7, and 13. But I want to put an accent on the 13th. So I want to make sure that top row is clicked. So it's going to accent this whole thing here. And then now I want to go to my kick. And the kick is going to be on beat, step 1, beat 1. It's going to be on 1, 5, 9, step 9, step 11, and step 13. And I also want to put it on 15 as well. But I need to put an accent on 15. So there's the accent there. And I want to put a weak beat on the first one here. So I'll click on weak, and I'm going to do this. So there we go. So once I clicked on that tab here for the bass drum, and I have this on, it's going to be a weak beat here. So let's listen to this. There we go. So that is starting to sound good to me. So now, how do I get both of these patterns to play together? Well, this is the way I do it. I think it's the easiest way because what I'm going to do with this is a deconstruction of this particular song in Logic Pro X. I'm going to play the keyboard parts. I'm going to program the bass lines. I'm going to reconstruct and deconstruct this whole entire song. But right now, I just want to do the drums. So I'm going to take, the cool thing about this is I have both patterns programmed here. And I'm just going to take the what we call MIDI data. I'm going to drag and drop. And the beauty of this is I can just take that first pattern and just take it and drag it. It's going to ask me, do I want to import the tempo? No, I have the tempo set already. So there we go. So this is pattern A, and now it just went to B, and I want to listen to it again, make sure that's B. That is it. So I'm going to take B, and I'm just going to take that out and drag that on top. And I don't want to import the tempo, and there's B, and it says A and B. So now let's hear it, because I have the two patterns out, and let's hear them chained together. I'm going to move this over, and I'm going to take this, and actually I'm going to chain them together, because that's what they do. I'm going to do that, and edit, join the regions. It's always good to do that. Command J would be good. I'm going to join the regions again, Command J, or go to here, edit, join. All right, and now I'm going to loop it, because this is going to go for most of the song. There we go. All right, so now I have my drum pattern in there. And the next thing I want to do for this, for the deconstruction, and I think this is probably one of the most important parts of this, is the keyboard part. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to click here, open up a new track, and I know already I have a great keyboard that sounds exactly like the original. And the original was recorded using a Sequential Circuits Prophet 5. So what I'm going to do is look for the Arturia Prophet 5, and it is here somewhere. Prophet 5 V3. I have two of them. That's interesting. I'm going to use the V2 because I know the sound that I want is in that. Not sure if it's in the other one. So I'm going to close my Rhythm Composer right now, because I have that, and let's double click on this, and here it is. So now I'm looking for pads. It's a pad sound, and there it is, in the air. So if I play my keyboard, I should hear it. And that is pretty much the sound. I'm going to layer this with another sound, another software synth. But right now, I want to get this small little keyboard. Those of you that want to see how this is done, I'm going to go to my applications, and I have a bunch of stuff here. So let's go all the way down to this little virtual MIDI piano. There it is. All right, so now I have my little Prophet synthesizer. I'm going to play the beginning of it. I need to get my virtual piano, those of you that want to see the notes. All right, so really what this is, it's very simple. Phil Collins is a drummer, great drummer, phenomenal musician, great composer. And he pretty much played this whole thing himself. It's very simple. I'm really amazed at how great this song is just from these three chords. So there is also what's called a pedal tone in the bass on D. The first chord is D minor. D minor, F, A. The next chord is C over D. That's our pedal tone. And the next one is B flat over D. And it goes back up. And that really continues throughout the whole song. One thing I do want to do here, I want to make sure that the polyphony is more than 5, because sometimes on this it cuts out. So I want to make sure it's at least 16, so I don't have to worry about it, even though I'm only playing 5 notes. But for some reason with this sound, it does tend to cut out. And in another tutorial video, I will go over the details of the synthesizer here and how it's programmed and the sound itself. All right, guys, so now I'm just going to play the beginning of this on the Prophet 5 by Arturia software synth, and I'm going to play the first part of it. So here's the drums, let the drums go, and I want to click. You know, I don't need the click now. I want to count off though. So here we go. It's a low bass drone first before the song kicks in. Now here we go. So there you go. If I played any wrong notes, what I would do is go in here and look at the MIDI data, and I can lengthen the notes, I can shorten them. Sometimes you could see here, I don't remember playing that, but that's there. I want to delete it. I don't need those notes. All right, so it looks, if I look at the grid, it looks really good. Looks in time. A few things I might change here to make it perfect, but there we go. I can make this a little longer. I stopped, and that's it. So let's just listen to it. And there's also a score editor here that I can look at the notes. That's the first chord I played, D minor, C over D, E flat, C, there you have it. That is the two of the three most important parts of the song. Don't forget the drums. And in a later video, I will show you how that's done as well. All right, so that is the TR808 Roland Cloud in action, recreating, deconstructing In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins, plus the Sequential Circuits Prophet 5 Arturia software synth, recreating that classic pad sound, which was actually from the original preset in that particular keyboard. It was more of a brass sound, and they just turned the dial of the filter to filter out the frequencies. Almost sounds like a sine wave type of pad. Two sawtooth waves that were used, took out the harmonics. Sounds great. You hear this on a lot of different type of tracks. Phil Collins used it many times. Peter Cable used that same sound in many of his songs as well. All right, so that's it for today. The TR808 in action, Roland Cloud. Check it out. It's very cool. And that is it. So I'll see you guys later. Take care.